was truly engaged or not, that's a different part of the story. But it was
It's part of the story, though.
It is part of the story.
Yeah.
You're right. But the Packers just struggled to find any level of consistency.
Yeah.
Well, here we are. A year later, the Packers are, in essence, with the direction arrow pointing up, in the very same position they were a year ago, with a chance to go to the playoffs. All they need to do is defeat a division rival on their home field in a January football game, and they are in. If they lose, they're not 100% out, at least not as we sit here today. But the easiest path in, as a number 6 or 7 seed, is to beat the Bears. They will be in one way, shape, or form. How impressed are you, or how surprised are you, that we are having this very same conversation 1 year ago to the date we had it previous?
You know, if you think about how the year started with the Packers, I think I remember I was at a game, Greg, and I think the crowd cheered when we finally got a first down in the first half. So that's how bad this offense was early on. And it takes you back to the Atlanta Falcons game, where there's a game that we should have won, and Jordan Love made the wrong live call and didn't run up someone's butt because he didn't make the right call. And then you can just see this offense grow. You can see Jordan Love grow. But what we haven't seen really, the defense was spotty a little bit. Special teams, spotty. But what we have seen here through, 16 games is basically this offense is carrying the team. And I don't think either one of us thought that would be the case at the start of the year. We thought maybe the defense would be the unit that would carry this team because that's where it had most of its veteran players on that side of the football. And to me, more surprising than anything else is how well Jordan Love has played and these receivers. Name them all. I mean, all of a sudden we got Bo Melton now. This guy is your first 100 yards receiver here this year. No one would ever thought that. So a lot of surprising things that has happened offensively to this team that I thought they could never reach. Now, I want to touch on this because I am more of a feel guy. I mean, I watch the games, I look at the game, and I make judgments off of what I feel and body language. I do all that kind of stuff. It's like my innate ability because I played the game. The Packers last year, and I'm just going to be straight 100 honest with you, felt like it was a struggle because it felt like Aaron Rodgers hadn't bought in to what Matt LaFleur was selling. And you can tell that. It was contentious all season long. And this year, there is some stuff like that, but it's on the other side of football in the defense. But you feel right now offensively that everybody is bought in, and it feels like the arrow is moving upwards and still climbing. And to me, that's really the biggest difference in last year and this year is that your offense and your quarterback feel like they have bought into what Matt LaFleur is selling, and all these guys they're excelling at what they're doing offensively.
Chance to be an above 500 team comes on Sunday afternoon against the Bears. Bears, by the way, have found some life here toward the end of the season as well. We'll detail how they've gotten to here to where they're at this point of the season, because the fact is this: if the Packers lose to the Bears, they will finish with the same record.
Yeah.
Right? And it's possible the Packers could still get into the playoffs, but I think it underscores that the Bears have had some good moments as well. That Week 1 matchup in Chicago feels like 2 seasons ago.
Right.
But at the start of this season, and at points throughout the season, Gary, we looked at the Packers and said, can they show signs of growth? And I know we spoke collectively of it, but my heart of hearts goes right to the offense, because at the end of the season, you have to be able to figure out if you feel like you got the quarterback you want to move forward with. We have seen signs of growth, right? 16 touchdowns, 1 interception for Jordan Love since Week 11. The numbers are ridiculous. He has been arguably the second half of the season MVP in the NFL. That's not a joke.
No, it's not.
Full season, he's not part of that conversation.
That's real.
Second half of the season, he is definitely part of that conversation. So I think goal number 1 accomplished. I think you feel really good about Jordan Love as your starting quarterback moving forward, especially with this young group of receivers. But now it's okay to get a little greedy. Right? Now it's okay.
Smoking from my guy.
To not shy away from the obvious carrot that is dangling in front of you, and that's an opportunity to be a postseason team, because it will be another step in the growth and development if this team has to prepare for something they have never had to prepare for, and that is a playoff game. Now, some have been in it. Some have been to different parts of the playoffs, different depths of the playoffs. But all the skill guys you're talking about, they never sniffed anything like this. Some had that chance last year against Detroit, and it was an awful game on the home field. And here comes another opportunity. I'm incredibly impressed with how the Packers have rebounded collectively, and the buy-in, I think, is a big part of it.
All right. I'm going to caution you this still. And no one wants to hear this. But it's still a young team. What if the offense struggled against the Chicago Bears? Then what? I mean, if you just think about it, not every day that you go to work, I'm just talking about regular Joe. Not every day that you go to work, you feel good. And some days you go to work and you're there, you're working hard, you're getting it done, but it's a struggle. It's the same way in sports, too. Not every day that these guys go to play a game and it's on. It's just not clicking for every reason. And right now, this offense is the only thing that is carrying this team. If you go back and look at this last game, they blew out the Minnesota Vikings. Extra point missed. Punt return fumbled. Although defense played relatively well. But you still had all these miscues where, though the offense just played lights out, it didn't hurt them. But what if the offense struggles again with all these young guys? And I think that can happen in this game. What will the defense pick them up and carry them? Because football is the ultimate team sport, right? It takes all three phases really to win a game. And are they all together, three phases? Can they come together if the offense is not playing at that high level? That's my only thing to question about coming into Chicago. Because right now, we're putting all our eggs in one basket. You're Jordan Love, you're Aaron Jones, you're Matt LaFleur all day long. That's what you're banking on.
Yes, it is. It absolutely is.
That they have a good day, a great day at work.
The Bears' defense is legitimate, no doubt. Their offense is a little erratic.
Since they made that deal with Montez Sweat with their pass rusher, different defense.
Definitely.
Totally different defense right now.
And their offense is in better shape than Minnesota's is right now at this point of the season. They at least have their starting quarterback and a top-flight wide receiver in a pretty good run game. So we'll get details on the Bears coming up in a moment. If the season ended today, the Packers would be the number 7 seed. They would play Dallas in the first round of the playoffs.
Thank you for letting me know that.
They could still end up as a 6 seed, the Packers. And if they end up as a 6 seed, they would face the Cowboys or Lions. They cannot play the Eagles because the Eagles have no path to the number 3 seed. Packers could also play the Eagles if they are the number 7 seed. So there's only 3 opponents here, one of which you've beat, the other 2 you haven't faced.
So who are my 3 opponents? Cowboys?
Eagles or Lions. As we look at it today, right, if the Packers win, I suppose if they lose, it could still happen.
Right.
But Cowboys, Eagles, Lions, one of those teams will be their first-round opponent.
I don't really fear any of those teams, actually, for the Green Bay Packers. Eagles are not playing their best football right now. You beat the Lions already, but that's when we were playing our best football because our defense is pretty good if you go back to that Lions victory. Cowboys, I don't believe in the Cowboys. Cowboys are going to do Cowboy stuff. But they're undefeated this year at home. The Cowboys seem to play very, very well at home. But I still like our chances to go in there and get a win.
800-990-3776 if you'd like to join us here on the program. You're listening to Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday on a Tuesday on WTMJ and ESPN Milwaukee. Can the Packers still qualify for the postseason if they lose on Sunday? The answer to that question is yes. However, a lot of stuff that would have to happen and break right for the Packers. The Vikings would have to lose to the Lions. The Seahawks would have to lose to the Cardinals. The Falcons would need to beat the Saints. Right? You're getting into that risky territory if you end up stumbling to Chicago. Last year I was optimistic I was optimistic that despite all the drama and stuff that was happening throughout the year, I didn't believe that Jared Goff on a cold January day at Lambeau Field could outduel Aaron Rodgers with an opportunity to go to the postseason. I didn't believe that could happen. And it happened. And it was a microcosm of what that Packers season was. Largely disappointing. I feel different about this team than I did about the team a year ago. That is in large part due to the quarterback play. The quarterback is on an ascension.
Yeah.
Right? Last year, Aaron was just, I never really got to Aaron Rodgers like. It was just, he was kind of meh all season long, and he had some career worst numbers. Jordan Love is ascending with this young offense.
Oh, my God, is he?
And it's now to the point, Gary, where, early in the season, well, they don't have Christian Watson. I don't know if they can absorb that. They don't have David Bakhtiari. I don't know if they can absorb that. Aaron Jones out a little bit. I don't know if they can absorb that loss. Go back to the game against Minnesota just the other night. No Dontavian Wicks. No Christian Watson. Tough road environment. Going to be noisy in there. I don't know if they can absorb that. I am beyond thinking this Packers offense cannot absorb any loss.
Yeah, but you didn't. But Greg, I agree with you. And when you're saying those things, but you didn't say to yourself, it's going to be Bo Melton.
Oh, no.
You didn't say that.
But now it seems interchangeable.
you go,
everyone is thriving.
Right. You didn't say it's going to be Bo Melton's going to be the guy. We're not making this stuff. I mean, come on. You kidding
right? Me? And Tucker Kraft has also performed.
Well, yeah, over the last 4 or 5 weeks.
He's been fantastic.
Yes.
Right? So absorbing losses is not something I thought this Packers team could do and still be in position to be a playoff team. Young stars, veteran stars. Like they've lost a lot of time due to injury with productive players, but they have managed to overcome it enough to be in this position. That, in and of itself, I think is a hat tip to Matt LaFleur's offense because dudes are open, and the quarterback is finding them.
Yeah, he's scheming them open, Greg. I go back to last year when you and I had the pregame show, and I'm with you on that. I thought they'd win. But when I thought they'd lose? It's when we had Lomas Brown on. He said some things to us off and on air, and I'm going to go ahead and let the cat out of the bag. That whole week leading up to that, I think Aaron Rodgers said something to the fact of, I can't believe we lost to that team. Said in an interview. And they blasted that all over Detroit. And when Lomas Brown came in and sat down with us, you could see it on his face. He goes, they played that interview the whole week. And how all of Detroit, Michigan, was absolutely just enraged that Rodgers thought that little of a team. And a lot of people talk about, bulletin board material, this, that. But when you have a team like the Lions were last year on a come-up and wanted to prove something, that's when that bulletin board material matters. It doesn't matter, though, if you got a team that's winning, that's been there, and they kind of takes a lot of stuff for granted. But Detroit was on the come-up. That's when I went to myself, boy, if they don't come out with the right attitude, they could lose this game. That's when I felt that they could lose this game. This is completely different with the Chicago Bears. You do have a team in the Bears who are Justin Fields probably playing for his job. The coaching staff is probably playing for their job. And neither I say, Greg, you may look this up. If the Bears win, they also could be in the playoffs. They have an outside chance. So there's a lot to play for right now for the Chicago Bears coming into Lambeau Field, the oldest rivalry in the NFL. Throw out the record books and let's go play rock'em sock'em football. This could be back to Forrest Gregg, Mike Ditka days, where this could be a very, very physical game.
800-990-3776 if you'd like to join us. Coming up on the other side, the Packers have a very interesting decision to make with regard to Jair Alexander. Do you start him after his one-game suspension, or do you sit him and let the rookies do their thing?
Great question.
We'll explore after this. It's a Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday on a Tuesday. He's Gary. I'm Greg.
More football talk coming up next. This is Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday, live from Rockin' Brews. even when you think you know what's going on.
The Chefs are 7, and they cannot win a Super Bowl.
You can never be too sure.
Until Taylor Swift, on her birthday, says no to Kelsey with an engagement ring.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Does he have to ask her before getting the ring? Or no? Can he just give her the ring?
Morning 7 to 9 on 94.5 ESPN and available wherever you get your podcasts with Wisconsin On Demand.
Do you check your savings account and wonder if you're even saving at all? At Town Bank, we view banking differently and actually want to see your savings grow. With our amazing new CD rates, you can now earn even more, so you can sit back and relax. Stop banking the same way, expecting different results, and start earning more. Go to townbank.us/locknewrates or visit a Town Bank branch nearest you today. Bank differently with Town Bank. Member FDIC.
What's better than free? How about play free all year? This January at Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee, you can win over $2,000 in reward play every month all year long. Just play your favorite games to earn prize drawing entries. Then stop by each Thursday night in January to see if you're a winner. $400,000 in prizes is up for grabs. Over 40 winners each week. Yeah, free is for me. More info at paysbig.com. Must be 21 years old and a club member to play.
Fisco is always there for your auto body care. When accidents happen, Fisco Auto Body on Forest Home in Franklin is there when you need them. Got a broken mirror? They'll take care of it. Dented bumper? Scratch paint? Fisco Auto Body will take care of it. If there's any damage you need fixed, Fisco has you covered. Their expert workmanship is guaranteed for the life of your vehicle. So stop in for all of your auto bumps and dings. Once again, you know the line. That's Fisco.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Q Club of Wisconsin is a hangout spot for watching sports, playing games, and having some drinks. Mike, what do you have going on over there?
Gary, we have so much going on. We're still the place to be on game days to catch the green and gold. Book a holiday party in our VIP room, which includes a private pool table, 2 shuffleboard tables, and 4 dartboards. Plus, we got great live music every Saturday night. And of course, we've got our fish fry on Wednesdays and Fridays, where you know we pile it high.
All happening at the Q Club of Wisconsin, North Grandview Boulevard in Waukesha. Check out qclubofwisconsin.com.
Woo! Hey, this is Ben Brust from Kyle Brust and Nortman on ESPN Wisconsin. People can't stop screaming about the Screamin' Sicilian frozen pizza, and no wonder. There's plenty to scream about, like the buttery stone-fired crust, secret recipe tomato sauce, mounds of whole milk mozzarella, and tons of premium toppings. Find Screamin' Sicilian in your local grocer's freezer and find out for yourself why Sport called Screamin' Sicilian's Holy Pepperoni frozen pizza the best of the best. Screamin' Sicilian, taste what all the screamin' is about.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. He sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself.
For many military veteran caregivers, their caregiving journey starts earlier in life and lasts longer. Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
This is Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday, live from Rockin' Brews on 94.5 ESPN.
Protected as well, firing to the middle of the field. Touchdown in the middle, Jaden Reed. He now leads the team with 9 on the year, and the Packers have jumped out to a 9-0 lead.
Jordan Love to Jaden Reed in the first quarter of Sunday's win over the Minnesota Vikings. Our best electrifying play of the game. That came in the first half. One of 2 touchdowns for Reed. He did leave the game with a re-aggravation of a chest injury.
Yeah, he's got something going on.
Yeah, something that we'll kind of monitor throughout the week. He's fighting like his butt off to get back into that game.
Right.
And meanwhile, linebacker Devondre Campbell chose not to play through his injury, but that's a different discussion for a different time. Our best electrifying play of the game came in the first half. Jordan Love to Jaden Reed. Packers blow out the Minnesota Vikings. Not on the field during Sunday's win over Justin Jefferson and the Minnesota Vikings was Jair Alexander. Suspended one game for erratic behavior. His most recent example, anointing himself captain, calling the coin toss, almost screwing it up against the Carolina Panthers, playing a lackluster game, and it's all just part of the book that's being written on Jair this year. Is he injured? Probably.
Yes.
Is he interested? I don't know. Does he want to be part of this team? Is he at odds with Joe Barry? All of that is up for discussion. But the fact of the matter is he got suspended for this game against Minnesota, did not play. What do you do if you're Brian Gutekunst and Matt LaFleur in a win and we're in situation against the Bears, given his season-long behavior? Do you start Jair Alexander? Do you bench him? Do you have him come in packages? What do you do with Jair Alexander going into this week against the Bears? To me, it is the question of the week in Green Bay. What the Packers choose to do with Jair Alexander.
You're asking me right now?
Yes.
That's a tough question and a tough answer. Football guy hat here. You got to know your locker room, Greg. You had to dust up with Joe Barry, whether he should be your defensive coordinator, should you fire him now, should you not. Did not do it. And then follow that dust up was with Jair, coin toss, all that. Then they come back and then they suspend him for a game. And now, you're right, you're posing a great question on what should you do with Jair. And we can say what we want to say, how we would handle it. I'm going to tell you what Matt LaFleur has to do. And it feels like you got to have a pulse of your team. You got to be able to push all the right buttons. You got so many different personalities in this locker room, and you got to have all these guys come together as one. And some of these guys' personalities are a little bit more outlandish than others. And I think Matt LaFleur, as a head coach, has to figure out how does this affect the team? How do you mold this attitude in your team? I don't really have a great answer for it. I'm sure you do. If you start him, is that at the risk of already building what you set out to have this past week? Unity. Or if you bench him and bring him off, does he still give you attitude? Or the conversation that they had, was it a really great conversation, and was that already set forth in the conversation that they had? When you come back this week, you're coming off the bench. If you want me to give you an answer, my answer to that question would be, you go with Valentine and Valentine, and he's your nickel guy. That's the way I would approach it. But you got to have the pulse of your team as you're making this decision, how it's going to affect you on Sunday. There's no room for error here on Sunday. We've already talked about it. You win, you're in. You lose, maybe. So it is a delicate situation to try to deal with coming up this week. And then, I don't know, does Matt LaFleur speak tomorrow?
He will speak on Wednesday, yep.
Wednesday. So that's going to be, I'm assuming, the number one question.
It's number one question of the week.
It has to be.
Isn't it?
Has to be.
We're going to ask Jason Wilde about this coming up in a few minutes.
Go ahead and answer.
I think a healthy, engaged, and interested Jair Alexander is still a very good football player.
Sure.
Right? And to me, a level above Valentine and Ballantyne.
No doubt about it.
Right? But those are three pretty key adjectives. Healthy, engaged, and interested. All three make Jair dangerous. If he is not healthy, he ain't tackling. If he's not interested, he's lining up 8 yards off when it's 3rd and 2, right? If he's not engaged, he's doing his own thing, anointing himself captain. And all that can be reckless and against the grain of where the Packers are trying to go, right? You're rowing the boat one direction, and dude at the paddle in his other hand is trying to go the other direction. The boat doesn't get where you want it to go. So he's got to be not only health-wise, but in the right mind frame to be himself.
But you don't know that. You don't know what you're going to get.
No, and that's part of the issue here. Now here's the other risk, right?
You don't know what you're going to get.
So let's say you bench his ass, right? You're done. We're not putting up with this. We like how our 2 young guys played. They're fighting tooth and nail. They're going to give us our best chance to win. Well, then you get into the playoffs. And now you got Dak, Jalen Hurts, right? You're going to tell me that Jair's all of a sudden going to be interested and engaged to play in the postseason? So I am with you, Gary, in that I think he has to play, but I don't think I'm rolling out the red carpet to say, you got left corner again. We'll start you there. That's your spot. Welcome back. You're our man. I don't know if he's earned that right now based upon how this season has gone. But I think if he doesn't play at all, he just shuts his mind off and he's done.
Yeah, if you don't play him at all, I don't know if you get him back. Like the rest of the year. And so that's one of the dangerous things that they're dealing with this week with Jair on what to do with him and how to bring him back. And then would he be a nuisance inside that locker room? And another thing that we haven't quite talked about is really the whole Eric Stokes thing, IR, came out of nowhere. We'll ask Jason Wilder when he come on, but I don't think he was on the injury report at all last week. Then all of a sudden he's on IR. That was weird to me as well.
It was. So a hamstring thing popped up again. You could argue that maybe it was.
When did that happen? Was it
coming back too early?
Well, did that happen like on a Friday or Saturday or a
it was
Thursday,
late.
Friday?
Yeah, all my days got messed up with the holiday.
Yeah, it was. But it was late when they announced it, and I looked at the injury report all week. He was not on the injury report at all, and now he's out. That was strange to me.
So Jason Wilde's going to join us coming up on the other side. I'm going to ask him the exact same question I asked you. Jason's got a little better understanding about how Jair operates. I've gotten to know him a little bit over the years. This is the first year I can truly describe his behavior as erratic and in kind of a negative way.
Yeah.
But what does that mean for Sunday and potentially the postseason? Wilde joins us next. It's a Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday on a Tuesday. We're back after this.
Back with more on the green and gold after this on Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday, live from Rockin' Brews.
Tito's handmade vodka is so good and smooth, you can mix it with anything. Now, hear us out. If your usual brunch cocktail sounds like a Tito's Bloody Mary stacked with garnishes is more like Tito's. Sounds pretty good. 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof. Crafted to be savored responsibly.
Hey, this is Gary Ellison for my good friends at the Jewelry Center. It's the only place I go when I'm looking to get some new jewelry. Dean and his team are always friendly and know just what I'm searching for when I stop by. I may not always know what type of jewelry I want, but the professionals there sure do. Plus, if I need repairs on watches or other jewelry, the Jewelry Center does that too. Find the Jewelry Center in Burlington, Brookfield, and Greenfield, or shop their entire collection online, including their popular Lightbox lab-grown diamonds at shoptjc.com. Hey ESPN Milwaukee fans, Gary Ellison here for my friends at Best Electric Services. They're family owned and operated and have been serving you for over 50 years. No job is too big or too small, whether it's completing a residential or commercial project or even installing electrical vehicle charging. Best Electric provides quality service at fair prices. They are experienced and licensed electrical contractors ready to get to work. Connect with the Best Electric Services. Find out what they can do for you and visit bestelect.com today.
Winter would be pretty bleak without my friends at Fleet Farm. They're my one-stop shop for everything ice fishing. My boots, bibs, augers, scoopers, rods, reels. I mean, Fleet Farm's got all the best ice fishing gear. Hook, line, and sinker. And duct tape, too, if you need it. You'll always need it. Take it from me, John Gillespie. Fleet Farm's got everything you need to gear up for a great year on the ice.
Prize Picks, the most fun I've had, winning up to 25x on my money during the football season, and now I get to play during the basketball season as well. You get to select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projected stats, and you just place an entry. Pretty simple. And now you get to pick combo projections across football and basketball from the Specials League, a league created specifically for combo projections that includes 2 or more players from different sports or leagues. So for me, I'm going to go Jordan Love, and then I'll go Giannis and Dalla Dame. If I want to go 3-pointers made, rushing touchdowns, can do it. Prize Picks is that simple to play. Testing my skills on Prize Picks this season is the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. If you have the skills, you can turn $10 into $250 with just a few taps. Quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, and an enormous selection of players and stat types are what makes Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app.
Go to prizepicks.com/WI and use code WI for a first deposit match up to $100. That's prizepicks.com/WI, code WI.
Hey, wouldn't it be great if life came with a remote control? You know, you could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind. Like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest.
Uh-oh.
Or that time you forgot to roll up your windows in the car wash.
Fantastic.
Yeah, a remote control would have come in handy then. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Life doesn't come with a remote control. Yikes! So you're on your own with the wasps. You have the power to take control of prediabetes. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
You're listening to Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday, live from Rockin' Brews on 94.5 ESPN.
Greg Matzek and Gary Ellerson with you. It's a Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday on a Tuesday from Rockin' Brews, where they've made extra bread pudding. Did you see that? They made extra bread pudding because they knew we were coming, sadly.
No. Do we have bread pudding? Do we know?
It's coming. Jason Wilde is not able to join us live and in person.
Then why would you do that, Jason?
Well, we
like
sold
that?
the bread pudding so much all season long, and the one day he comes, they didn't have any more bread pudding because it's so popular, and I feel like we've influenced the sale of bread pudding here at Rockin' Brews. And I feel bad about it. I feel good about it, and I feel bad about it. You know what I'm saying?
So, are you going to send Jason Wilde some bread pudding in the mail, or what are you going to do? What are you
I think you could probably overnight it.
Okay.
I think it would keep.
Because I don't know why you brought that up right now, because I don't want to make him feel bad.
I thought it'd be a natural way to welcome in our good friend
fine.
Jason Wilde. Wilde and Tausch, 9 to noon, ESPN, Wisconsin. Happy New Year, Wilde.
You're a jerk.
Is that bad? Well, if you end up with bread pudding, isn't that the goal here? I can get you bread pudding.
I'm not. You're not. Don't make promises you're not going to keep. Don't do that. Come on. You're not overnighting me bread pudding. Let's just be honest. Let's not lie to each other here. Okay? Let's have an open and honest conversation and relationship. I came down there. They're great down there at Rockin' Brews. It's a really cool venue. I had a great time. I got to see you guys and Gary's guy from the Jewelry Center, and his son was there too, or nephew.
Yes.
I got to see Gabe Nicesoul. I got to see Shane Blackman. I didn't get to eat because they were so slammed that night, which is fine. They were super busy. I get it. But the idea that you would now, after I had finally moved on, bring up that they have bread pudding in abundance when I'm not there is just a jerk move.
Well, and on top of that, he goes, and Happy New Year.
Yes.
So Happy New Year, yeah.
We're going to get you that bread pudding.
That's our buddy.
It's going to get there. Jason, you are a very thoughtful gift giver, and I feel like I could repay your thoughtful gift giving of years past with a piece of bread pudding. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. All right.
All right.
Yep.
Okay. I look forward to it.
All right.
Well, speaking of open and honest conversations,
yes.
right?
All right. So to me,
Nice.
this is the question of the week in Green
Open
Bay.
and honest.
Leading up to Sunday's game against the Bears, 3:25 kick. The question of the week to me, Jason, is what the Packers choose to do with Jair Alexander as he comes off suspension. Start him, roll the red carpet out. Here you go, you're back. Involve him in packages, but start the rookies. Don't play him at all. What do you do with Jair Alexander if you're Brian Gutekunst and Matt LaFleur?
I play him. Look. This is about more than just Sunday, and I think it comes down to were they full of you know what, kind of like you are about this bread pudding. Let's be honest. Or were they being authentic when they said, they think that their relationship will be better for it after the suspension and all this other stuff? Because if they want him to be a crucial portion of this team going forward, not only this year but into the future, then I personally would say you probably can't say, yeah, sorry, we're glad you're back. We're starting Carrington Valentine and Corey Ballantyne instead of you. Right? Because you're going to just end up right back where you started with him being a malcontent, and some might think a malingerer who could have played through his injury and hasn't. I think if you don't play him, that's the message. Now, if you've already kind of made up your mind that he's more trouble than he's worth, and he's out there, and you're not going to get him back, that while he may be there in body after the suspension, he's not going to be there in spirit and in commitment and focus, and you think you're going to cut bait with him after the season, then start whoever the hell you want. And if you think somebody's better than him, not because of their talent, but because of their commitment and their focus and all those other things, then go with Corey Ballantyne. One of them, Ballantyne or Valentine, has to start because you've now put Eric Stokes back on IR. But the other spot, you got to decide. And my gut would tell me that Jair Alexander will be the starter, and that they will hope that this has been a meaningful step forward in their relationship and a lesson. But again, if he's not, then you might as well just announce to the world the Jair Alexander era, which is not one of Taylor Swift's eras, is over.
Yeah, I mean, and to me it's tough to do. And we talked about Matt LaFleur having this really pulse on the locker room and really what you do with this, because Ballantyne and Valentine, they played well enough to start. And you go through this, a big game that they had last week, and they get a win, and those guys played well. I just don't know what the feel of the locker room is if you then pull one of those guys to start Jair. And only Matt LaFleur knows it. And there's all this talk about Matt LaFleur being soft, this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. I think more than ever this year should prove to a lot of people that Matt LaFleur really has a pulse of this locker room. There's no way you can go through the whole Joe Barry incident and then go through the Jair incident and still have your team playing at a high level if you had lost the locker room.
Yeah, I agree. I never believed that he had lost the locker room personally. I thought that there were some veteran players that he had either lost or that they had chosen to be lost. But I thought most of the young guys were still on board with him, and I think some of the other key veterans were as well. But look, I don't. At the risk of this ending up out of context on social media, Devondre Campbell is just as problematic to me as Jair Alexander is. I know he didn't get suspended, but I can't get over. And again, had he I would have loved to have had this conversation with him. And I'm happy to still have it with him if he were to choose to talk to us. He said, I ain't talking about nothing that happened on the internet, and he shut down our attempts to ask any questions about that at the time. But I've never seen a player publicly announce, after playing in a game with an injury and not playing well and being critiqued on social media and also by the coaches to some degree publicly, but I didn't think there was some sort of majorly harsh critique of him by LaFleur publicly. He talked a little bit about miscommunication, but that was it about that Tampa game. I've never seen anyone announce that they weren't playing through injury publicly and then not play in the next 2 games.
Yes.
As the injury didn't get exacerbated in any way. He's just there. Like he's not practicing. He's not doing anything. And so, and he claims to have a good relationship with LaFleur from their time together in Atlanta. Maybe they do. I don't know. But you played, then you announced you weren't playing, and now you haven't played anymore. So how am I supposed to interpret that other than you're not interested in being part of this anymore? Now, I would argue that he and Jair and David Bakhtiari were probably viewing this season the same way I was when it began, thinking they were going to be a 6-11 team, and they were so young, and Jordan was going to have all these growing pains, and maybe by the end of the season they'd get things figured out. But they're veteran players. They don't have time for a wasted season where they don't go to the playoffs. And much like I miscalculated how the season has gone, they did too, and they were kind of like, I'm not really all in on this. Again, I don't know this. This is just my interpretation, so please don't take that as I know how these 3 guys were feeling. But if that is how they were feeling, they have missed out on one hell of a ride. I mean, this has been the ups and downs. I don't like roller coasters. The girls were on some at Nickelodeon Universe at the Mall of America this weekend. I'm not a roller coaster guy. I'm a carousel guy. I know what I'm expecting. There's not twists and turns and ups and downs. I'm fine with that. And this season has been full of those twists and turns. And it has been, I told you guys when we started this show that this was going to be the most fascinating season I've covered. And I've covered a hell of a lot of Packers seasons at this point. Not enough to have covered Gary, but it has been everything I could have hoped for and a million times more. And now on Sunday at Lambeau Field, they're going to play the Chicago Bears, and if they win, they're going to the playoffs. And I did not at any point think that they were going to do that until they beat the Chiefs and the Lions back-to-back, and then they lost back-to-back games to the Giants and the Buccaneers. And I know some of my colleagues said they're done. There's so much for the playoff dream. And I was like, look at this conference. And now here we sit. 1 game for all the marbles to go to the playoffs. What more could you ask for from this season than what this team has delivered?
Jason, as we've seen the offense really take flight, and Jordan has certainly been a big part of it. I mean, his last 5-6 games have been absolutely remarkable. Maybe the second half MVP in the NFL. Gary and I were talking about that earlier. It's not an official award, but we can give it out here on the football program. The constant rotation of receivers due to injury or other circumstances, right? Bo Melton emerging as a 100-yard receiver. No Dontavian Wicks. No Christian Watson. And the Packers offense absolutely made mincemeat of the Vikings defense. Should Matt LaFleur be receiving more credit than he's perhaps getting for how this offense has taken flight, as his quarterback has certainly grown with a very young group of pass catchers?
Yeah, look, it's a great point, and I was going to insert another bread pudding complaint, but I won't, because I'm above that. I've moved on. But it's a great point, Greg, because there's a bunch of factors that are at work here, right? It is certainly the exponential growth of Love, who has been better than I envisioned him being this quickly. I thought he was capable of this. I did not think, I was getting grief for saying there were glimpses of brilliance, but there were, and now we're seeing him more frequently. There's no doubt, as you said, these young receivers, they're where they're supposed to be, when they were supposed to be there way more often than they were earlier in the season. But I was just working on a story that I actually just told my editor at the State Journal I decided is too good to do right now. I'm going to save it as the game day story. But the other part of this is that I think Matt LaFleur has had an awakening. That, he said after that Rams game that Jordan Love had to let it rip. But the play caller needed to let it rip too. and he wasn't. Like, he was taking these cautious, safe, conservative approaches to his game plans. And remember that Rams game and all the dink and the dunk and the throws at the line of scrimmage or behind it? Like, they won 20-3, but that was more because Brett Rippon sucks, not because they were good. And then at some point, LaFleur said during that week leading into the Steelers game, I gotta let hold of the reins. I gotta let him go. I gotta let this guy play. And what did Love do? I know they lost, but LaFleur keeps pointing at that Pittsburgh game as a turning point. He's right, because they looked different. They played different. And I think he realized, I can't keep coaching these guys this way. We may go down in a huge ball of flames, but we got to go down swinging. We got to try. And I think that's what they've done. And you look at that offense on Sunday night against the same defense that completely throttled them at Lambeau Field on October 29th. And one of the underrated changes is that Matt LaFleur, who we all felt like was a good coach, but didn't look like a good coach when they were 3-6, I think he finally said, all right, blanket, let's go. And I think that has made all the difference.
I'm going to go here, Jason, because I think there's a lot of love to pass around to this organization. Tom Clements should be one of them as well. But whenever I hear talk about the Green Bay Packers when they're doing bad, I always hear about the organizational structure. But when they are doing good, I don't hear about the structure, which goes back to, for me, Mark Murphy making the hire of Matt LaFleur, because he said that he did, with the mind of, yes, coaching Aaron Rodgers. I would think that everybody thought that that was a success. They want to get to a Super Bowl with him, obviously. And then still having the foresight to have Matt LaFleur groom the next guy after Aaron Rodgers. And for a while, what I saw a lot on the socials, and I hate social, was everybody had this picture of Mark Murphy coming down the slide in the tube. Is like that was the joke about Mark Murphy. Does Mark Murphy then also, if we giving out flowers in the structure, get some credit for the hire now of Matt LaFleur?
I would like to congratulate you, Gary, on finally getting a topic where we don't agree. I mean, really well done.
He did it!
Because let me put it this way. I agree. I can't completely disagree with you, because that's we're like brothers from another mother. I think he deserves credit for hiring Matt LaFleur, because I believe Matt LaFleur is a really good coach. I'm not sre that he has the overarching kind of CEO level head coach ability that Mike McCarthy has yet, but I don't know if Mike McCarthy had it yet in year 5 either. Like, he grew into that role too. I mean, he was 6, 7, 8, 9. Year 5 was the year they won the Super Bowl for McCarthy. I feel fairly confident that will not be the case this year for them. But he's a really smart offensive guy. I think there were people questioning him unfairly. His hiring was a good hiring. And I'm not just saying that because that was the guy I picked before they started their search as the guy they should hire. But two things can be true. It was a good hire by Mark Murphy, and the structure still sucks. Because it still sets up dynamics where I think he still made the silos worse instead of better. I don't think the coaches get, other than maybe Rich Bisaccia, which I'm not even sure that's the case anymore, because they cut Dallin Levitt for yelling at an official after that kickoff penalty, whatever that was, a month and a half ago, and there's no way that Rich Bisaccia wanted him cut. So I still think the structure is bad. I still believe that. But that doesn't mean that Mark Murphy didn't get the hiring right. So I guess I agree with you a little bit, but I disagree with your larger point.
Fair, we'll take it. I'm counting it. I'm taking it.
That's
I'm
50-50
counting it.
there.
Good enough for me.
Fine.
I like it. Well, hopefully we are back here again next week talking about a Packers win.
One last question.
Yes, of course. Go ahead.
When does Matt LaFleur speak?
Tomorrow. They had yesterday and today off, so tomorrow after practice, so around 2:30, 3 o'clock.
Do you think the number one topic or question will be about Jair and his availability?
I mean, I think well, let me put it this way. I think it's something we have to discuss with him, that we have to ask about it. It's our responsibility because it is a story. It is newsworthy, you know. It's what's your plan with him, all the other stuff. But look, I think this game is so much bigger than Jair, and I don't think, you know, to me, like the parallels are unavoidable, right? Now, obviously, there's a very different team, but there are some guys I know they're young and all, and I know they got a lot of rookies, but there's a hell of a lot of guys still on this roster that were on the team last year that had just kicked the crap out of the Vikings, that were coming in 8-8, knowing that against a team that had been eliminated from playoff contention, if they won, that the Packers were going to the playoffs, and they peed down their legs and lost to a Lions team that was playing for nothing but pride, and they had a hell of a lot more pride. And they lost. And so Jordan Love knows it. Matt LaFleur knows it. Jordan Love wasn't the quarterback for that one, but he knows it. They all know it. And so to me, the story is, how the hell do you make sure that doesn't happen again? Because you didn't expect to be in this position, if you're being honest, which they're not going to admit that. You know, they like to say, I had no expectations. But they didn't think that this season was going to come down to a win-in-you're-in scenario. So, and I keep saying that this would be jet fuel for them and their development if they can get into the playoffs. Well, you got to get there. And, yes, there is a wacky path for you to get there without winning, but just go win the damn game and make the playoffs. And the Bears are out of contention. They're playing for pride. They're playing for their quarterback, who they swear by, and they want to be able to help him keep his job instead of getting his replacement drafted number 1 overall with the Carolina Panthers pick. So they're going to be motivated, but not motivated by a playoff berth. And so how are you going to make sure that history doesn't repeat itself? I'm eager to see whether they're able to prevent it from happening.
Pretty amazing stuff. 1 year later, the Packers are in the exact same position as they were last season. Are they better positioned to win this game than they were a year ago? Gary and I will talk about that on the other side. We say goodbye to Jason Wilde. It's Wilde and Tausch, 9 to noon on ESPN Wisconsin. Thank you, pal. Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year to you, too.
Yeah.
It's coming.
Yeah, sure.
It's coming.
Yeah.
I'll send you
Bye.
the tracking information.
Yeah.
See you, pal.
Bye-bye.
Let's tee that up coming up on the other side. A little late for a break. Gary's going to tell us about the Jewelry Center here. We know they got great things going on here as the calendar flips to 2024. But are the Packers better positioned to win this game against Chicago than they were a year ago against Detroit? 3
locations, guys. 76 in Layton Plaza, in Brookfield off of Blue Mountain Road and Tri-City National Bank Building. And the 3rd location for you folks in historic downtown Burlington, Wisconsin. Guys, if you want to go check them out, their website is shoptjc.com. Shoptjc.com. And at their website, folks, you can buy just about anything you want to buy at all 3 of their locations. You're looking to get the most money for your old gold jewelry, it's going to be at the Jewelry Center. If you're looking for the best possible price on any piece of jewelry that they have in this, or it's going to be at the Jewelry Center. Guys, if you want to go shop around, go stop by the Jewelry Center for that price that's going to save you a lot of money. And that's what I'm here for, guys. I'm on perpetual scholarship, which means I don't want to pay a lot for anything. So don't take my word for it. Go down, check my good friends out at the Jewelry Center. Ask for the owner, Gene Murray.
Back with more on the Green and Gold after this on Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday, live from Rockin' Brews. Yeah, they're football guys, but they don't shy away from the big topics of the day.
Good morning, Tausch. How are you? Old T's I'm not feeling 100%. Tummy ache?
Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Also sponsored by American Family Insurance.
No, I think with all that little stuff that's going around, and I'm going to grind.
Weekdays 9 to noon on 94.5 ESPN and available wherever you get your podcasts with Wisconsin On Demand.
Do you check your savings account and wonder if you're even saving at all? At Town Bank, we view banking differently and actually want to see your savings grow. With our amazing new CD rates, you can now earn even more, so you can sit back and relax. Stop banking the same way, expecting different results, and start earning more. Go to townbank.us/locknewrates or visit a Town Bank branch nearest you today. Bank differently with Town Bank. Member FDIC.
What's better than free? How about play free all year? This January at Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee, you can win over $2,000 in reward play every month all year long. Just play your favorite games to earn prize drawing entries. Then stop by each Thursday night in January to see if you're a winner. $400,000 in prizes is up for grabs. Over 40 winners each week. Yeah, free is for me. More info at paysbig.com. Must be 21 years old and a club member to play.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano here. I played sports my entire life, been hurt a lot of times, but never had been injured until I had to stop doing the sports I enjoyed because my knee flat wouldn't allow it. I visited Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, where they took great care of me. I put my knee in their doctors' capable hands, and now I'm back in the gym, carrying my golf bag, pain-free for 18 holes, and playing tennis as often as I like with no issues. I'd recommend Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin to anyone. Visit orthowisconsin.com.
Life's better with American Family Insurance because our home policies help protect your dreams and come with peace of mind. Save up to 25% by bundling home, auto, and life. American Family Insurance. Get a quote, find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Discounts may not apply to all coverages on an auto or home policy. Discounts do not apply to life insurance policies. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating companies, American Family Life Insurance Company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Skilled trade workers are the backbone of every community and also the Army National Guard. Soldiers trained to keep the power flowing, engines running, and in every other trade needed to accomplish the mission. These soldiers are on the fast track to learning skills that can set them up for success at home with companies looking to hire the best. Their resumes are being built through their paid training and part-time service. Find out how you too can learn a trade profession by visiting NationalGuard.com. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Army National Guard. Aired by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association and this station.
All you have is one chance after an accident, one decision on who to call, one shot to get the help you need. Don't waste it on the one offer you get from your insurance company. Make the one call to Gruber Law Offices. It's the only one you'll need to make. Call us today. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Hey, it's Gary Olson here for Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center. Looking for that midday escape? Or maybe you want to impress a client? No matter the season, rain, snow, or shine, Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center is open for you. A top-tech, cutting-edge golf experience that gives you the chance to play legendary courses. Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center simulators, entertainment, and best Bloody Marys make it feel like summer all year round. Just $35 an hour gets you a round and puts that summer feel back in your life. Book your bay at WisconsinIndoorGolfCenter.com.
You're listening to Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday, live from Rockin' Brews on 94.5 ESPN.
All right, so a year ago, the Packers were going into the final week of the regular season with an opportunity to be a playoff team with Aaron Rodgers at their quarterback, a young Christian Watson who had emerged and had become a bit of a touchdown maker in the second half of the season. He had a spurt, and then he cooled off again toward the end of the year. Romeo Doubs, who we thought could be a number 2, he now kind of looks like a number 4, but that's a different story for another time. And
I like debating that.
I think it's interesting because I still trust him. I still have a lot of trust and faith in him.
You do, yes.
I do.
It is.
I did not have a lot of trust and faith. Well, trust is not the right word. I did not have a lot of faith in Randall Cobb's abilities last year. I did not think Alan Lazard was a number one last year. I think Dontavian Wicks today is at least Alan Lazard. I think Jaden Reed is potentially better than Randall Cobb ever was. So I like the pieces that are being put in place, and many are being forced into playing maybe a little more than, if they're a more veteran-laden team. But not Jaden Reed. He's playing in any situation on any team. I think he's that good. The question is this, Gary.
What?
As the Packers approach this game against the Bears, with all their youth that we've talked about all season long, with a much maligned defense, as it was a year ago, not real big separation or difference between the defense of last year and this year, to me. But are the Packers in better position to win this game on Sunday than they were a year ago against the Lions?
My first reaction would be, yes, they are. And I would love to say they're playing together as a team, but I don't know if they really are when we start talking about Jair Alexander, Devondre Campbell, because that doesn't feel like what they're doing is a part of the team. But the major difference is right now, the league is about quarterback play. And you've already talked about it, and I do agree with you. Over the last 6-7 weeks in the NFL, there's no harder quarterback than Jordan Love. He's carrying his team. The offense is carrying his team. Matt LaFleur is carrying his team. I said this last week. It just feels like the offense is dragging this team along. Offense, right, is dragging the defense, is carrying the special teams to all these wins. And then all these guys are along for the ride. So that's what makes me feel better about this team, in that offensively you see all these young guys together, and whether you want to go on the ride or not, they're putting everybody in the cart and they're pushing the cart. Come along for the ride. I mean, I don't know if you've seen some of the behind-the-scenes stuff with Bo Melton after the game.
They loved it, right? I mean, his teammates could not have appreciated that level of success more.
Right. And to me, when I start looking into stuff like that, a lot about this team. But what you don't see, Greg, and you don't see everything, but I just don't see any of that love on the defensive side of the ball. I see a lot of love. I see a lot of togetherness on the offensive side of the ball. I just don't see a whole bunch of that coming from the defensive side. So that's what gives me caution, because I think at some point when you're playing big games like this, you need everybody. You need everybody pulling the rope in the same direction. And is this team doing that? I don't know. I can't tell you that because I'm not in there. On the outside looking in, it seems to be that they have issues defensively and they have issues on special teams.
I think the Packers are in better position to win this game against the Bears this year than they were a year ago against the Lions. Not because of the defense. To me, the defense is in about the same position as it was a year ago. To me, right? It's sort of productive at times. They have looked good. They've had moments, but by and large, we're talking about firing the coordinator more than we're talking about how the defense is held.
It's worse than it was last year.
Okay.
Because I don't think we had all this.
That.
I don't think we had all the outside noise last year. Did we? I can't remember.
No, not quite.
I don't think we had all.
There were
this.
some injuries and whatnot,
but the outside noise we didn't have.
No, you're right. But my assertion comes directly from the offensive performance down the stretch and the quarterback play. Aaron Rodgers, after he declared himself healthy, by the way, the final 5 games of the year, he had 5 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, and 3 of those 5 games he threw for under 182 yards.
Yeah, he wasn't right.
Right? And then that was kind of a season-long sort of thing with Aaron Rodgers.
But he was fighting himself last year. He really was.
He never really had that blow-up game. But I say after he declared himself healthy because I will acknowledge that the thumb was probably a thing. But, hey, if you publicly declare yourself healthy, I'm going to assume it's no longer a thing.
Right.
So he, down the stretch, really struggled. with an offense that had a blend of veterans, although you could say toward the back end of their career. And keep in mind, Alan Lazard was a healthy scratch down the stretch for the Jets. So how good were they really? Jordan Love, down the stretch, if we look at the last 5 games, his numbers have been outstanding. And we've talked about this as like, second half of the year MVP. Well, let's just look at the numbers in the last 5 games. 11 touchdowns and 1 interception.
That's smoking.
Right? And this is a team that has struggled defensively for consistency. He's also, during that stretch of time, the fewest amount of yards he's thrown for is 218. Rodgers eclipsed that on 2 occasions last year during that final stretch. So I'm not making it a Jordan Love versus Aaron Rodgers thing, but I'm talking about the ascension of the offense with their quarterback at the helm, and you can't size it up any other way.
Well,
Jordan Love down the stretch is playing better than the Packers with Aaron Rodgers did last year, going into the final game.
Because the NFL is quarterback driven. So you have to. That's what it's about. So,
it's not even close.
No, it's not.
The offense is in a way different position today than it was a year ago.
And even younger than what they were.
Right?
A year ago. To me, when you start looking at those numbers, do they have QBR in there? I wonder what is
I could hunt for it
in there, because that's been absolutely off the charts too.
With Jordan?
Yes. He's just been playing some really, really good. And the throws, it feels like right now that he can make all the throws. I mean, he still floats the ball a little bit, but as far as – and he still can miss on some over routes. So did Aaron Rodgers. But the throws, I mean, the one throw that he made to Jaden Reed for the touchdown down the middle, that was absolutely incredible. That was on the money. So he's making all the throws that you would say, oh, that's a special throw.
His last 5 games, QBR of 82.7 against Minnesota, 89.7 against Carolina, 50.6 in a loss to Tampa Bay, 53 in a loss to the Giants, and over 90 in wins over Kansas City and Detroit.
Yeah.
That's overall a pretty good body of work right there.
Now, and so what you're afraid of here, and this is what I was saying to you when we first got on, is that can this offense keep it up without any help? Because they're not getting any help, Greg. That's my only thing that I see coming into this Chicago game. Can they keep running at that clip? Because when they don't play well, they're going to lose. Because they got no help defensively. They got no help on special teams. You go back to the Super Bowl when they were winning Super Bowls, special teams were pretty good. Defense was really – didn't they have like a top 5 defense?
They've never won a Super Bowl without a top 5 defense.
Right? They don't have that. And we're not talking Super Bowl, but you got to be better than what you are right now to help your offense when it struggles. And that's not happening right now. They have no support.
Before Gary tells us about Best Electric, we'll remind you that our Best Electric electrifying play of the game is coming up on the other side. We'll also take a glance at the Bears. What has made their season turn around to the point where, no, they're not in playoff contention, but a win over Green Bay means the Packers and Bears end the regular season with the same record. A lot has changed since that Week 1 game at Soldier Field.
Folks, Best Electric, they are family-owned and operated company that's been in business for over 50 years. I've known Bruce and Nate for over 30 years. Those are the owners. No job is too big or too small, from residential to commercial projects and even electrical vehicle charging. Best Electric provides quality at fair prices. Keep your family safe this winter with whole and partial home generators so the power is always on. Don't forget to keep your electronics and appliances protected with whole home surge protection services. Connect with the best and visit bestelect.com.
Back with more on the Green and Gold after this on Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday, live from Rockin' Brews.
Hey ESPN Milwaukee fans, Gary Ellison here for my friends at Best Electric Services. They're family owned and operated and have been serving you for over 50 years. No job is too big or too small, whether it's completing a residential or commercial project or even installing electrical vehicle charging. Best Electric provides quality service at fair prices. They are experienced and licensed electrical contractors ready to get to work. Connect with the Best Electric Services. Find out what they can do for you and visit bestelect.com today. Q Club of Wisconsin is the hangout spot for watching sports, playing games, and having some drinks. Mike, what do you have going on over there?
Gary, we have so much going on. We're still the place to be on game days to catch the green and gold. Book a holiday party in our VIP room, which includes a private pool table, 2 shuffleboard tables, and 4 dartboards. Plus, we got great live music every Saturday night. And of course, we've got our fish fry on Wednesdays and Fridays, where you know we pile it high.
All happening at the Q Club of Wisconsin, North Grandview Boulevard in Waukesha. Check out qclubofwisconsin.com.
Prize Picks, the most fun I've had, winning up to 25x on my money during the football season, and now I get to play during the basketball season as well. You get to select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projected stats, and you just place an entry. Pretty simple. And now you get to pick combo projections across football and basketball from the Specials League, a league created specifically for combo projections that includes 2 or more players from different sports or leagues. So for me, I'm going to go Jordan Love, and then I'll go Giannis and Dallas Dame. If I want to go 3-pointers made, rushing touchdowns, can do it. Prize Picks is that simple to play. Testing my skills on Prize Picks this season is the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. If you have the skills, you can turn $10 into $250 with just a few taps. Quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, and an enormous selection of players and stat types are what makes Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app.
Go to prizepicks.com/WI and use code WI for a first deposit match up to $100. That's prizepicks.com/WI, code WI.
Tune in to KBN every day at 2 o'clock. 94.5 ESPN is WKTI and WKTI HD, Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
The game is over.
Protected as well, firing in the middle of the field. Touchdown! In the middle, Jaden Reed! And the Packers have jumped out to a 9-0 lead.
And it's the day after.
Or in the pattern from Love. Inside, it's Reed again. Got away from 1. Reed on the run. Inside the 10. To the goal line. Breaks the play. Touchdown, Green Bay.
Let's react to the game and look ahead.
Love flips it to the end zone. Touchdown. Bo Melton's got that one. It is a Packer night in Minneapolis.
This is Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday, live from Rockin' Brews. Here's Greg Matzik and Gary Ellerson.
A dominant performance over the Minnesota Vikings has the Packers knocking on the door of the postseason. A win over the Chicago Bears on Sunday. Packers will accomplish what they were unable to accomplish a season ago at Lambeau Field. Welcome in. It is a Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday on a Tuesday. Greg Matzik and Gary Ellerson with you. I want to dive into the Chicago Bears a little bit.
Sure.
We've got plenty more to come on the NFC playoff landscape, what it will take for the Packers to get the number 6 seed. Can they still get in if they lose on Sunday? There's a lot to digest here as we move forward toward 8 o'clock. But I will say this about the Chicago Bears. They've been eliminated. They, despite being ahead of Atlanta in the way the tiebreakers work, the Bears have been eliminated from postseason contention. So they would like nothing more, I'm sure, than to come into Green Bay and knock the Packers out of the postseason as well, especially after what happened in Week 1, in which the Green Bay Packers put up 38 points in a convincing win. But I'll remind you this. The Bears have won 4 of their last 5. And their only loss was a road contest at Cleveland, a team that is, that's like a rock fight anytime you go up against Cleveland. And the Bears were inches away from winning that game on a Hail Mary from Justin Fields. And a Bears breakdown on defense is what allowed Cleveland to win that game, 20-17. It's kind of how Cleveland likes to win. But a win over the Vikings, 12-10. A win over the Lions, convincing, 28-13. A win over the Cardinals, not a great season for Arizona, but it was a convincing win, and Arizona knocked off the Eagles last weekend. And a win over the Atlanta Falcons, a decisive 37-17 win over a team that is hanging on for its playoff life. That game was played in Chicago. So they have won 4 of their last 5. And one could argue this is as big a game for Justin Fields as it is anybody in a green and gold uniform. you can't sleep on the Bears. And I know, Gary, what you're about to say. You can't sleep on any team in the NFL. Doesn't matter who they got quarterback. Keep in mind, Jaron Hall was awful for the Vikings on Sunday. It was more about them than Joe Barry. That's another topic. Mm-hmm. But you can't sleep on this Bears team because they can hurt you. They can run the ball. Their defense is better since the trade deadline. Mm-hmm. Fields is still a guy you have to account for, and DJ Moore is a legit number one receiver.
Right.
There's no question in there. It's just
it was that
what I've watched this team more than I ever care to admit.
Right.
But I've liked some things I've seen out of the Bears the last few weeks.
Well, because here's what's happening, right? Justin Fields is playing for his NFL life right now. By hook or crook. He's got to make it work. Is it going to be in Chicago or is it going to be somewhere else? So every game he plays, he's putting on tape. This whole coaching staff is playing for their lives as well, or their coaching careers. Is it going to be in Chicago or is it going to be somewhere else? So they're on the hook. They cannot afford to come to Green Bay and lay an egg. On top of that is the oldest rivalry in the NFL. This sets the stage for everything that you could possibly want that is made for TV. That's why they're in the primetime spot. Because the Bears, they've been ascending just like the Green Bay Packers, and Justin Fields is playing lights out right now. And he's going to be a bigger deal than Baker Mayfield, than is it Jaron Hall, Bryce Young, Tommy DeVito. He's better than all those guys. So what I'm saying to you defensively, they got to be ready to play. DJ Moore, you know they're going to throw in the football. He's going to be like Justin Jefferson. But this is not the Vikings offense. You've got a quarterback that can play, that is elusive. Will our defense come ready to play? I don't know. It has the makings of a shootout. I mean, I just don't see them stopping. From what we've seen of this defense all year long, I don't see them stopping the Chicago Bears. If they do, maybe Joe Barry is still here after the season.
Oh, come on. Stop it now. What makes you say something so foolish like that?
Just telling you. Just telling you, dude. If they win this game, don't be so sure Joe Barry is gone, Damon. He still may be here.
What is it that the Bears do
I know y'all
best?
don't like it.
Yeah, I'm just trying to move on as quickly as possible. That's what I'm trying to do here.
Yeah.
What do the Bears do best? Right?
Well,
I mean, their defense has changed since the trade deadline.
Well, Montez Sweat, right? They can get out quarterback right now.
Huge difference.
That's what they do best. Offensively, I don't know what they do, but it's Justin Fields. That's what they do best. Justin Fields creating plays that are not there. Can't you just see the Packers defense running after Justin Fields?
Well, look, this team averages 145 yards a game on the ground, the Bears. That's a thing. That is part Khalil Herbert. That is part Roshan Johnson. That was part Deontay Foreman at a point this season.
I don't even know who any of those guys are.
That is part Justin Fields. But he's the guy you're really worried about.
Yeah, right.
Everybody else, Deontay Foreman's A.J. Dillon light.
Yeah, okay.
Right? But Justin
David
Fields.
Montgomery had a couple.
Well, he's with Detroit now. Different team. Fine. We'll step aside here, but just don't sleep on the Bears. Don't think it's because it's at Lambeau, it's cold weather. You may have thought that last year going into the Detroit game, and that really bit the Packers in the butt. Who's it a bigger game for? Justin Fields or Matt LaFleur?
Oh.
We'll look at that coming up on the other side. We continue after this.
Back with more on the green and gold after this on Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday, live from Rockin' Brews. The Golden Eagles stay flying high.
Off Joplin, over 3.
Holla at your boy.
One more time.
Holla at your boy.
And another.
Holla at your boy.
On Saturday, number 7 Marquette visits Seton Hall for more Big East action. Our coverage begins with Gabe Neitzel and the Marquette Sports Network pregame show at 10:30. Homer and Marquette Hall of Famer Tony Smith have tip-off from Jersey at 11 a.m. on Saturday. 94.5 ESPN, the official home for Marquette basketball.
The Saganiac Planning Fantastic Finish. March 25th, 1977. NCAA Tournament Semifinal. Marquette against UNC Charlotte. Marquette by 2 till Cornbread Maxwell tied the game with a 10-foot jumper. 3 seconds left. Timeout. Marquette had to go the full length of the court. Butch Lee with a long pass to about 10 feet from the Marquette basket. Looked like it would be caught by a Charlotte player. It wasn't. Jerome Whitehead got it. One dribble and an attempted dunk that was challenged. It went off the back of the rim, then rolled forward and down through the hoop. Oh, baby! Marquette 51, Charlotte 49.
Don't miss the shot when it comes to offering medical coverage to your employees. Saganiac Planning can coach you on ways to balance costs and prioritize care for your employees with coverage provided by United Healthcare. For more information, call Steve Fluellen, 262-783-6161. Steve Fluellen, 262-783-6161. Saganiac Planning, a name synonymous with employee benefits and top-notch service. Insurance coverage provided by or through United Healthcare Insurance Company or its affiliates. Administrative services provided by United Healthcare Services, Inc. or its affiliates. Health plan coverage provided by or through United Healthcare of Wisconsin, Inc.
Hi, this is John Neal, CPA, best-selling author, and founder of the Neal Group, with over 40 years of experience helping businesses make money and keep it. 2023 is almost over. How are you doing? Do you even know how you are doing? Do you have money in the bank? Are you getting the advice you need to minimize your taxes and put more money in your pocket? Do your calls get returned and questions answered? We help you look at your numbers and understand what they mean. How would you like an extra $10,000 or $100,000 in your pocket? We can help you now, before the end of the year. Using tried and true strategies, we have helped countless businesses increase their profits and lower stress. Our Neal deal guarantees you'll increase your profit or you don't pay us. Really. If you want to get started on the road to making more money and having less stress, visit nealgroup.net right now. That's NEAL group.net. The first meeting is free to see if we can help. Again, nealgroup.net.
Hey, it's Gary Olson here for Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center. Looking for that midday escape? Or maybe you want to impress a client? No matter the season, rain, snow, or shine, Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center is open for you. A top-tech, cutting-edge golf experience that gives you the chance to play legendary courses. Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center simulators, entertainment, and best Bloody Marys make it feel like summer all year round. Just $35 an hour gets you a round and puts that summer feel back in your life. Book your bay at WisconsinIndoorGolfCenter.com.
Tito's Handmade Vodka is so good and smooth, you can mix it with anything. Now, hear us out. If your usual brunch cocktail sounds like a Tito's Bloody Mary stacked with garnishes is more like Tito's. Sounds pretty good. 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof. Crafted to be savored responsibly.
Ever wonder how the best athletes find the power to jump higher, cut quicker, skate smoother, drive farther, and stick the landing? At Prevea Orthopedics in Green Bay, we know power starts with the hips. That's why Dr. Michael Ryan and our team of experts provide comprehensive and advanced expertise in hip care, unlike anywhere else. Come to Prevea Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, where we can preserve your hips so you can pursue your goals. Prevea Orthopedics, specializing in you.
This is Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday, live from Rockin' Brews on 94.5 ESPN.
For the pattern from Love, inside it's Reed again, got away from one. Reed on the run, inside the 10, to the goal line, breaks the plane. What a run by Reed! Touchdown Green Bay! His second of the night. And he gritties in the Vikings house.
Jordan Love to Jaden Reed, Part 2, our best electrifying play of the game from Sunday's massacre of the Vikings in Minneapolis. Best electrifying play of the game, times 2. Jordan Love to Jaden Reed. What an incredible run after catch, by the way. Not only eluding defenders, Gary, on that touchdown. I thought the Vikings linebacker just kind of had a bad angle. Otherwise, he was in position to make a tackle. But when Reed got to about the 5, now you just start dragging dudes into the end zone, right?
Right.
It's not like he just got knocked sideways or out of bounds. No, he pulled people into the end zone with him. So showing a little bit of everything on that.
No, really, he really is. Remember we had this conversation earlier in the year about this receiving group, whether it could rival the Sports Illustrated cover. Do you remember this topic we had?
With Finley and Driver and Jordy and
Cobb.
Jennings. I'm probably missing a couple out of there, but yes.
You remember we had that conversation?
I do remember that.
A lot of people were afraid to jump out there when I said that. Maybe about 4 weeks into the season. Are you afraid to jump out there? Could this group rival? We haven't seen Luke Musgrave but just a little bit.
Yeah.
But Kraft, what he's been able to do.
But here's the amazing thing to me.
Josiah DeGuara, we don't talk about him much, but
there's a reason.
He's that's my guy. Don't do that.
There's a reason you're not talking about him.
But he's the guy that kind of makes it all come together for him.
I don't know how you mean
Josiah.
that. I don't know how you possibly mean
because he does everything.
Yeah, he sure does.
Fullback, lines up a little tight end. He's the elder statesman in the tight end group. He keeps all those guys together.
Yep. Yes, sir.
I mean, think about it. This group, now that you see what all these guys can do, does it rival that Sports Illustrated cover? You're not ready to go there.
No, it's way too early to tell, but I will say this.
All right.
It is a glowing example of what Matt LaFleur's offensive scheme can do.
Oh, it's not about the players?
It's a combo platter.
Okay.
Right? Think about Mike McCarthy's scheme. When he had all those horses like you're talking about, it was line up, 5 wide, good luck.
Go get it.
Because your number 3 is nowhere near as good as our number 3.
Correct.
Right? And that was but Mike McCarthy stuck with that after Jordy got injured and tried to force feed Devontae into that role and Randall Cobb into that role. And the one-on-one, it's a back shoulder throw every time. Like, that wasn't working with that group. This is a very different offense than Mike McCarthy's offense.
Sure, no doubt about it, yes.
To the point where –
but you still got to have talent now. These guys ain't just running out.
No, he's a talented guy.
I mean, this dude –
I believe
this Jaden Reed dude, to do what he's doing right now and rivaling Sterling Sharp, broke Sterling Sharp reception record, that's pretty big league.
Somebody out of this group has to be a Pro Bowler at least before I can say –
Isn't that Jaden Reed?
Yes. I don't think he'll be a Pro Bowler this year.
No, not this year, but isn't that him?
He certainly looks the part.
Because how many balls has he caught so far this
year?
He's
at 56, 7. Somebody beat Sterling's 55 record.
That's going to be 70 next year, easily.
I would think so.
If he stays healthy.
I would think so. He's due for a jump.
Those are Pro Bowls.
But you have more interchangeable parts than you did a year ago, I think. Maybe the floor is, or the ceiling maybe not as high when you had Devontae because he was Devontae. But I think the floor is...
But Devontae wasn't Devontae when he was Devontae.
The floor is so much higher, though, with this group.
The ceiling.
Well, the ceiling isn't quite as high because Devontae was an all-pro. Right? The ceiling isn't there yet.
So you don't think one of these guys are all-pro?
It could. All-pro is like a top 4 in the league.
I know.
In all of the league.
I know. What was Sterling Sharp?
Everything.
Jaden Reed's about to break his record.
Well, he broke his receptions record.
Sorry, broke it.
Still a ways from the yards.
What's that?
From the yards and all that. I don't know who Sterling had around him either.
Nobody.
Probably not much.
Was that Don Mikowski?
Mikowski and Favre.
I think that was Mikowski. Well, he was a rookie with Mikowski, I believe. Right? Am I right? You can pull up on you. You don't want to look. That's fine. But I think that was Don Mikowski. Now, I would venture to say that Jordan Love is a better quarterback than Don Mikowski. Would you?
I would agree.
Okay.
I would agree.
Dontavian Wicks?
I like the group, if that's what you're looking for me to say.
Romeo
I really
Dobbs,
like the group.
Romeo Dobbs. See, this receiving core is weird in the way that we talk about Romeo Dobbs, because I think he's just as good as any of them dudes. But he gets lost in the shuffle, right? When those guys go down, Dontavian Wicks, when he goes down or Jaden Reed's a little nicked up, then he goes to Romeo Dobbs. But when he has all these guys together, Dobbs seems to get lost. How many big catches has Dobbs made here in the last 3 weeks?
I feel like everything that goes to him is caught, too.
Big catches, though.
Everything that comes his way is plucked out of the air.
Momentum-type catches he makes. Clutch.
There's something to be said for that, right? I like the group. I really do like the group.
They're more than, and this is no knock against James Jones. Everybody's but they're more than just James Jones type receiver.
Oh, I agree with that. I agree. 100%. This is a,
and I'm saying this to say that James Jones was damn good.
This is a better group than Aaron had last year.
Don't even get me going there.
It's a better group, isn't it?
This group was just as good last year. Aaron wasn't with this group last year.
You had Alan Lazard and Randall Cobb. And now it's supposed to have then Sammy Watkins, that experiment.
You had Dobbs and Watkins.
Adds rookies, right? And took Watson about a half a season.
Yeah, and the best receiver on his team right now is a rookie.
That's true. I like this group that Jordan Love has to work with. That still took a little bit to get it all together.
Crafty.
Yes, he's the tight end.
Unbelievable.
He and Luke Musgrave. Well, I hope it's back.
I had a lacerated kidney once.
You did?
Yeah, in high school. Not good.
How long did it take you to get back?
Well, back then we played spring ball in the state of Georgia, so we played like 3 games. They call it jamboree, so we played 3 games in like one day, kind of a deal. And I lacerated my kidney a week before the big jamboree. Got up in the middle of the night, started urinating blood. Mom rushed me to the hospital, and there you go, lacerated kidney. So I was out that whole spring practice, and I was ready to go, obviously, the following fall when it came back around. That's a tough injury to come back from. I got hit in my kidney with a helmet.
Oof.
Right on it. And I felt it when it happened, but I didn't know the severity of the injury until I got home late at night, went to the bathroom and just full of blood. Called my mom. Mom, come get me. She says, look at this. So let's go to the emergency room. I was in the hospital for about 3-4 days before it got cleared up.
So the fact that Luke Musgrave is even practicing at this point, and he did practice a little bit.
He's running around.
Moving around a little bit. I don't know if he could take a hit yet.
No.
That's kind of the biggest thing here.
Right.
It's not flag football.
No.
So something to watch. In his place, Tucker Kraft has done a really nice job.
Remarkable job.
A really nice job.
Sims, is that the other tight end?
Yeah, he's had a touchdown in a couple of moments here.
Looked pretty good, hasn't he?
I think so. But Kraft has made a big jump to where you thought he was only a blocking tight end.
Yes.
And maybe a little, swing off the line of scrimmage for 4 or 5 yards.
More than that.
He's proven to be more than that.
Great hands, it feels like.
He has grown in this offense as much as anybody, I think you could say, from week number 1.
Correct.
And Bo Melton, by the way, you brought up his name a little earlier. He has 11 catches this year. 9 have resulted in first downs. Right? I mean, he's not had many opportunities, but he's made the most of those opportunities. I think that, and he's had a touchdown in that.
Right.
Over 100 yards last week.
Right.
So having more interchangeable parts is also a key to the Packers' success. Everybody kind of looks the same. It's not so top-heavy toward one guy. And it reads all over the place. So I like what they have to work with. I'm going to step aside here. We didn't get really a chance to dive into what I want to dive into. No, it's good. All good stuff.
Can we dive into it this next segment?
I want to know from you who you think it's a bigger game for on Sunday.
Got you.
Matt LaFleur or Justin Fields.
All right.
We'll continue after this. It's a Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday on a Tuesday.
Back with more on the green and gold after this on Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday, live from Rockin' Brews.
ESPN Radio Sports Beat with Q Myers.
The college football playoff semifinals are officially in the books, and regardless of the complaining about who's in and why are they in, the Final Four look good to me. The Rose Bowl took overtime to find a winner. Michigan couldn't score at all in the third quarter. Looked like Alabama was going to book their ticket to Houston, but Big Blue had other ideas. A fourth down conversion that led to points and a stop in overtime. Michigan wins 27-20 and will head to H-Town. The Sugar Bowl had its own theatrics. Washington quarterback Michael Penix had himself a game, throwing for 430 yards and 2 TDs. Looked like the game was in the books. But a couple questionable play calls and untimely injury allowed Texas the opportunity to get within striking range. As a matter of fact, striking range was down to Washington's 12-yard line with 4 cracks at the end zone. But they could get no closer than the 10. Washington wins 37-31. So now we have it. Michigan versus Washington. Does defense win championships, or can the high-flying offensive attack prevail? We'll find out Monday, November 8th from Houston. Coming up in 60 seconds, what happens when the USFL meets the XFL?
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The patented key ingredient is something called Testofen, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text ROCK to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text ROCK to 42424. That's ROCK to 42424.
The USFL and the XFL have officially joined forces to create the UFL, the United Football League. Both leagues played in 2023 separately, but now combined to keep 4 XFL teams, 3 USFL teams, and one that the now merged leagues will share. All 8 teams are located in Eastern and Central time zones and will be split into 2 conferences. The UFL will debut on the field on March 30th with the battle of the 2023 champion Arlington Renegades, coached by Bob Stoops, formerly of the XFL, and the Birmingham Stallions, coached by Skip Holtz, formerly of the USFL. The other teams that will be involved from the XFL, the DC Defenders, coached by Reggie Barlow, the San Antonio Brahmas, coached by Wade Phillips, and the St. Louis Battlehawks, coached by Anthony Becht. Also joining the Birmingham Stallions from the USFL side of things are the Houston Roughnecks, coached by Curtis Johnson, the Memphis Showboats, coached by John Day Filippo, and the Michigan Panthers, coached by Mike Nolan. The UFL looks to give you that football fix you're going to need once the NFL crowns a champion in February. For the ESPN Sports Beat, I'm Q Myers.
Don't go through another year with that awful joint pain. Call QC Kinetics right now and make 2024 the year that you are back living normal life again. Hey, this is Brad Nortman. QC Kinetics can give you your life back. They are the nation's leader in regenerative medicine. These all-natural treatments can repair and restore that damaged tissue, giving you pain-free movement again. QC Kinetics has tens of thousands of satisfied patients around the country. People who had knee pain, back pain, shoulder pain, who are able to get lasting relief with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. If you have pain from an old injury or pain associated with arthritis, you need to check this out. The future of medicine is here. Regenerative treatments from QC Kinetics. Make the call now so you can get the most out of 2024. Get back to doing what you love. And don't forget, you can use your HSA and FSA funds. Call QC Kinetics for a free consultation. Call 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. Again, 414-285-3474.
You're listening to Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday, live from Rockin' Brews on 94.5 ESPN.
Greg Matzek, Gary Ellerson with you from Rockin' Brews inside Potawatomi Casino Hotel. It's a Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday on a Tuesday. Packers and Bears on Sunday at Lambeau Field. So the Bears have already secured the top pick in the draft thanks to the dysfunctional unit that is the Carolina Panthers. Right, so the Bears have the top overall pick, and then wherever they end up,
right,
after Sunday's game, they'll maybe be in the top 10 somewhere. Who knows? They'll have their own pick there.
Correct.
A big question in Chicago is, what do they do with that top pick? Do they leverage it? Do they trade out of it? There's going to be quarterbacks. There's going to be Marvin Harrison Jr. There might be new coaches in Chicago again.
Right.
In Green Bay, you've got Matt LaFleur trying to do what he could not do with the team a year ago with Aaron Rodgers at quarterback, and that's guide the team into the playoffs. Mm-hmm. Yes, it's looked at as a rebuilding year. There have been hiccups along the way, right? People look at Joe Barry's defense, and in the same conversation, they usually bring up Matt LaFleur as the guy who hired Barry,
right,
and has chosen to keep him in Green Bay after 3 very mediocre seasons at best. And consider this. It's the second year in a row the Packers will have the opportunity to play for a chance to be in the playoffs, to play for a playoff spot, to be more accurate, at home against a division rival.
Mm-hmm.
Who is Sunday a bigger game for? LaFleur, who is trying to defeat the division rival get the team to the playoffs, avoid losing a second consecutive regular season finale at Lambeau Field, protect himself a little bit so you don't go into the offseason with everybody shredding the Packers because they had this opportunity to go for the playoffs again and they came up short, or Justin Fields, the much maligned quarterback, playing for a franchise that has screwed up the quarterback position royally decade upon decade, that also owns the top overall pick in the 2024 draft.
There's a couple topics I'm going to blend in right here, which I believe, and we didn't ask this question, which I think leads me into this because this is what I believe. I believe the Green Bay Packers, for me, are playing with house money. Whether they win or lose this game, to me, is a very successful season. I did not see the Green Bay Packers being in this position that they're in right now, getting into the playoffs, let alone having a chance to be in the playoffs. Didn't see it. House money. So I say this to say that it's really about Justin Fields and his career. Because if they lose, the Bears lose this game, the whole coaching staff is gone, Justin Fields will be looking for a job somewhere else. Matt LaFleur ain't going nowhere. They'll have an opportunity to come back next year and build upon what they've already done. And if, in fact, if Joe Barry's gone, now you're looking for a new defensive coordinator to help push you over the top. Everything is all positive right now for the Green Bay Packers if they lose this game. Now, people attitudes and goals change once you get to this point. I think people then will forget about that they thought that this team was only going to win 6 games this year because they're where they are. But if you think about it in how you thought this team was going to be at the beginning, they're playing with house money. All the pressure, to me, is on the Chicago Bears and their whole organization. Their structure from top to bottom on what they want to do with Justin Fields, and you talked about the draft pick, move this guy out of what they're going to do. It's all on them. This game is monumental for that whole franchise. Not so much for the Packers. Everybody's coming back except maybe Joe Barry. Does that?
I'm with you, right? And I do agree it's been a successful season because I think you've been able to answer 2 questions that you had at the start.
One big one.
Do you have the quarterback?
Got him.
And number 2, did this team show signs of growth, right? The trajectory.
Got it.
Are we going the right direction?
Right.
Right. Those are questions I think you can confidently answer yes to.
Yes.
Questions on the defense, I don't think you can confidently say,
no.
Yes, the defense is getting better. It's not.
Agreed.
It's just not.
Agreed.
You can't say that.
Agreed.
And I think special teams has had pretty good last year. I think it's been spotty this year, but maybe not as bad as it was years prior.
They dropped off this year tremendously, the special teams.
It's been a little rough.
It has. And that may be due to all the injuries, Greg. Because once you have the injuries that you have, your Ballantyne, Isaiah McDuffie, Tucker Kraft, these are really good players, and now they got to start for you. Those would have been your special teams players. And so you took something away from that group. So I think the injuries kind of hurt the special teams. And although Anders Carlson, we knew, was going to struggle a little bit this year. So you had to take the good with the bad with that, with Mason Crosby not being here.
Sure. I agree with you. I think it's a big game for the Packers. I think it's potentially just Justin Fields' career.
It is.
And the career of the coaching staff in Chicago.
Front office, everything rides on this game for them.
Because I think some will look at the Packers, now even if they lose, again, it's hypothetical now, in time, people will be able to reflect on the season and say a lot of good things about the direction of the Green Bay Packers.
Yes.
Right? From draft class to development to the quarterback, right? There's a lot of good things that you can reflect on.
How do you go from J'Mon Moore, MVS, I thought, was there 3 receivers they took?
Equanimeous St. Brown.
Equanimeous St. Brown.
Amari Rodgers.
Missed on all those guys, and you come back in 2 drafts, and everything you touch at the receiver spot was gold. How does that happen?
Yeah. Shows you the power of a good draft. doesn't it?
How does that
And
happen?
how much it can set you back if you don't hit.
That blows my mind. How Goody has been able to do that, hit on all these receivers and missed on all those guys.
I know.
Crazy.
No, it's remarkable. No, I totally agree. I'm in agreement with you. I think it's a big game for the Packers. I think it's a bigger game for Justin Fields and the career of the coaching staff in Chicago and in Fields himself with the Bears owning the top overall
Not even
pick.
that. How about this, Greg? How about your next defensive coordinator for the Green Bay Packers comes from Chicago?
Could happen. Could come from. You got to let the dust settle on this,
For
right?
sure.
Right, because there will be
But if
coaches.
he loses his job.
No, I get it. The dust will settle within 48 hours of the end of the season, the regular season.
Yes.
And you'll kind of have an understanding of what that applicant pool could look like and if you want to make a change.
Do you need a proven guy? Defense coordinator? So, i.e. Al Harris, his name has been mentioned.
Yeah, I've seen that. I don't know. I think you need an attitude shift.
Well, Al Harris will be an attitude shift.
And I think you need somebody who the players can look at and be like, dude's got our back. We like him. We like the scheme. There's got to be buy-in. We talk about that. I don't think people buy into Joe Barry's scheme.
Right. I would agree with that.
That's my feeling on it.
Yeah.
Packers beat Jaron Hall.
Whoopity-doo.
You see how bad he was?
Whoopity-doo. Is that what you're saying?
You see how bad he was?
So you're saying the defense, what they did in this game.
No flowers for Joe Barry. It does not strike from the record everything else that has happened.
Here's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to get him the red roses. I'm going to give him a half a dozen of the yellow roses.
What does that mean? Like your friends?
Yeah.
Okay.
Red, I love you. Friends, yellow roses. 6 of them. But I'm still going to give him some flowers.
I am not going to give such flowers to Joe Barry. Packers and Bears on Sunday. It's a big game, obviously, for both teams.
You're a tough guy.
You're
a tough grader.
Tough on the exterior. That's right. We'll dive into this a little bit more. Rookie rankings coming up on the other side. We know Jaden Reed might be at the top of that.
He's one, right?
But the rookie rankings.
Is Jordan Love a rookie or no?
No, he's not a rookie. He is a fourth-year player, but his first year as a starter.
All right, sounds good.
Accurate classification.
Let's do it.
Gary's rookie rankings coming up as we close out the program. It's a Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday on a Tuesday from Rockin' Brews.
Back with more on the green and gold after this on Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday, live from Rockin' Brews. Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, weekdays from 2 to 5.
Never, ever, ever getting back together. You go talk. Oh,
you were off.
You were off. I'm off. I was off.
Presented by Bud Light and sponsored by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
Getting back together.
There we go. We're just as good as her.
We really are.
Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, right here on 94.5 ESPN. And subscribe to the show on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get podcasts.
The holidays are upon us, and a $500 shopping spree at the Bucks Pro Shop to be yours for gift giving. From exclusive gear and jerseys of your favorite players to collectibles and so much more, the Bucks Pro Shop is the place to make the Bucks fan in your life level up their fandom. From now through January 7th, head to ESPNWisconsinContest.com to enter for your chance at this premier giveaway. That's ESPNWisconsinContest.com. Check your list twice and head to ESPNWisconsinContests.com.
Seriously injured? Call Gruber Law Offices today.
Don't put your life on hold to earn a degree. Lakeland University has a long history of making students' dreams come true. Since 1862, build a schedule that meets your needs with options for 7- and 12-week courses, evening classes, and the ability to join classes remotely. Lakeland University is Wisconsin's leader in evening and online education. They have a main campus in Sheboygan County and 6 centers throughout the whole state. Lakeland University. Affordable, quality, flexible. Find out your next steps at info.lakeland.edu.
Ever wonder how the best athletes find the power to jump higher, cut quicker, skate smoother, drive farther, and stick the landing? At Prevea Orthopedics in Green Bay, we know power starts with the hips. That's why Dr. Michael Ryan and our team of experts provide comprehensive and advanced expertise in hip care, unlike anywhere else. Come to Purveyor Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, where we can preserve your hips so you can pursue your goals. Purveyor Orthopedics, specializing in you.
Do you check your savings account and wonder if you're even saving at all? At Town Bank, we view banking differently and actually want to see your savings grow. With our amazing new CD rates, you can now earn even more, so you can sit back and relax. Stop banking the same way, expecting different results, and start earning more. Go to townbank.us/locknewrates or visit a Town Bank branch nearest you today. Bank differently with Town Bank. Member FDIC.
Don't you wish your life came with a warning app?
Stop. That dog does not want to be petted.
Just a little heads up before something bad happens.
Move your coffee cup away from your computer.
Oh, no.
So you can have more control.
Stop. You're texting your boss by mistake.
Uh-oh. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Warning. The cap is loose on that ketchup.
Ugh. Don't wait. You have the power to change the outcome. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
Station updates, show clips, and your place to interact with us every single day just by scrolling through your feed. Follow along on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at ESPN Milwaukee. You're listening to Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday, live from Rockin' Brews on 94.5 ESPN.
Greg Matzik and Gary Ellerson wrapping up a Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday on a Tuesday from Rockin' Brews. The Packers draft class has been nothing short of remarkable. Certainly thrust into position, Gary, to be on the field.
Correct.
But they've also been able to perform on the field. So easier said than done. There have been rookies on occasion that have broken through and had outstanding first-year campaigns. And it's taken some time for others to grow into the likes of Kenny Clark, Rashawn Gary, and so on and so forth. I think we can agree that Jaden Reed is probably at the top of the rookie rankings here. If you're looking at all the Packers draft picks, even undrafted rookie free agents, if you want to go down that route. But a reminder of who the Packers selected in the NFL draft. First-round pick, Lucas Van Ness out of Iowa, who has flashed, right?
Yes,
I think the future is bright.
There's some flash in there, Greg.
I think the future is bright. I think he's done a little more than Rashawn Gary during his first year as a Packer. Mm-hmm. Second-round pick, the first of two, tight end Luke Musgrave, followed by Jaden Reed. He was pick number 50. Tucker Kraft, the tight end, was a third-round pick. Defensive lineman Colby Wooden was a fourth-rounder. Fifth-round pick was Sean Clifford, the backup quarterback. Also, wide receiver Dontavion Wicks. Carl Brooks, defensive lineman in the 6th round. Anders Carlson, a rookie kicker in the 6th round. Carrington Valentine, a 7th-rounder. Running back Lou Nichols, a 7th-rounder. And Anthony Johnson Jr., a 7th-rounder. Final 7th-rounder is wide receiver Grant DeBose. How are you ranking your Packers rookies here? The Packers rookie hierarchy, according to Gary Ellerson.
Well, obviously, you read, right? And then after that, maybe I'll go with Tucker Kraft. And then after that, maybe I'll go with Dontavion Wicks. And then after that, maybe I'm going to go with Carl Brooks.
Okay.
Thought he's had a pretty good year in this role. And after that, it gets kind of fuzzy.
So I'm with you on this. Reed has certainly stood out. I wish the body of work for Luke Musgrave was a little more complete.
And that's the problem.
Because I think he'd be challenging Reed for that top spot.
Yes.
Just look at everything Kraft has done. I think you could pretty safely say that Musgrave could do that same thing.
Rasheed Walker, I'm sorry, was he in that draft class or no?
Rasheed Walker's not a part of the draft class. He is part of the undrafted rookie free agent group.
Well, so then I most certainly may be if we're just doing rookies, I put Rasheed Walker then in front of Tucker Kraft. Actually.
Okay. Why is that?
That left tackle, what do you got to endure? The best pass rusher, not so good early on. But
I'm sorry, he was a draft selection in 2022 in the 7th round.
Okay.
So my mistake. He was around the team last year, just not on the field.
Just not on the field. But still not a rookie, though, so he doesn't go in.
I am very much excited about Luke Musgrave's future as a Green Bay Packer. I think you also have to look. You have to look at a couple things.
What's that?
To me, where the player was drafted and how they're performing against their draft selection.
Okay.
Right? So to me...
Well, then that's going to blow that out of the water if you're going to use that as a gauge.
That's just my own criteria. Doesn't have to be yours.
Depending on where they're drafted. So
but it maybe elevates Carl Brooks a little bit for you.
Oh, with that a little bit, but the other guy's going to blow him out of the water. Go ahead and give it to him.
Carrington Valentine.
Yes.
Right? As a 7th-round pick.
It's going to blow him out of the water.
And we saw hints of this during the preseason.
Yes.
But now he is sort of on the field as a starter because everything is falling apart around him. Mm-hmm. But I would also argue that he's performed pretty well. Here's what I like about Valentine. Ain't afraid of nothing. Not a damn thing. He'll stick his face in the middle of anything. He's going to make mistakes, as rookie corners do. But I love his attitude.
I think you got to go 1A and 1B. And that will be Dontavian Wicks.
As a 5th-rounder. Doing everything Alan Lazard did when healthy, in my opinion. Good blocker. Smart. Always seems to be in a soft spot in the zone.
Always.
Right? Like he just knows where to be.
Yes.
So we'll continue this. We'll maybe add some texture to it coming up after next week's program. Here's what I know about this program, Gary.
Yes.
We'll be back again next week.
Will we?
If the Packers make the playoffs, we will continue with Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday throughout the Packers' run in the postseason. Hopefully that takes us into February.
Okay.
When we're doing that, we might argue to take the show on the road for a potential Super Bowl. We're not getting too far ahead of ourselves here. But we'll go as long as the Packers go. He is Gary Ellerson. I am Greg Matzik. Thanking the fine folks here at Rock and Brews inside Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Special thanks to Jason Wilde for joining us as well. For Max Meyerson, our producer, and Gary Ellerson, I'm Greg Matzik. Signing off. Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday on a Tuesday.
Isn't this the best time of year? Wisconsin has the green and gold, Milwaukee Hoops, Wisconsin football, basketball, and volleyball. What more can Wisconsin